Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of QuaranTEAtime with Celeste. This is episode number 97 for Sunday, June 28th, 2020. And today I am drinking a tea that was gifted to me just yesterday by my niece. She gave me this tea that is called Puka Black Currant Beauty. I love this brand, by the way. And I have to show you how beautiful this is. It's a wonderful tea. It's really good. So today is actually a very important and special day for my people. And in this case, when I say my people, I am talking about the LGBTQ plus community that I have belonged to my entire adult life. So today is June 28th. Now, something very big happened today 51 years ago at 1:30 in the morning, well, really 1:20 a.m., and that was the Stonewall riots. Now, the Stonewall riots set off a huge LGBTQ movement for civil rights, and I'm going to tell you the story behind it. So there was a club in New York City called the Stonewall Inn, and it was privately owned by a mafia member who allowed LGBTQ, all people, to come in and express themselves, being able to hug and kiss and dance with one another, which at the time was illegal. So, anyway, so his name was Fat Tony, the guy that owned the bar, and he opened it up in 1967, so just a couple of years prior. Now, at the time, because it was illegal, they also considered police could do raids on any kind of place that had people that were disorderly. And by being LGBTQ, that could automatically mean disorderly. So just organizing as gay people was illegal at the time. So these police raids would happen, and often the Stonewall Inn paid off the police. That was the common way of allowing business to go as usual. But the police decided to raid the club on that night, and the people were given a little bit of warning. What they would do is they would flash the dance floor lights a little bit to let people know that the police were coming, so that they wouldn't be engaging in any physical affection or dancing together, or they could leave the bar. And so they did do the warning, but the police took a little bit longer to get there than usual, and people started collecting outside of the club. Well, at some point, a rather large group of people had come together, and really we're not exactly sure, but somebody decided to throw a brick. And there's also rumors that it was a high heel that was thrown. There's a lot of different stories that are told, but somebody decided to attack the police, who were holding people as hostages inside of the club at this point. So there was over just to give you an idea, because I didn't really know the scope of how many people were involved, but about 500 to 600 people had collected outside of the club, which is a large group of people. And so then the police were inside of the club, and they were holding some of the community members. There were only 13 arrests made, and fortunately nobody was killed. I don't think this went down the way it would have gone down today. I don't think we would have seen as many survivors. But yes, so this goes on a long history of how police have been policing who we are, and policing our bodies and our choices. And those are things that are systemic. It's not that we blame the police officers themselves, although some police officers maybe should be blamed, but for sure it's definitely have to do with the cultural zeitgeist at the time and what was deemed as inappropriate or illegal or wrong. And so gay people were rightly attacked, and there was really no retaliation that people could have. One quote I have from a person that was there at the Stonewall riots, his name was Mark Segal. I don't know if it's Siegel or Segal. He said, it was a glorious place to be because we could be open, we could be ourselves, we could dance, we could hug, we could kiss, we could be openly who we were. Laverne Cox, who is a modern day actress, she's a trans woman, she said, in 1969, there was really no such thing as being out. Gay and lesbian people were deeply stigmatized. Of course, it was illegal to be who you were. There weren't a lot of places where LGBTQ people could gather, so everything had to be underground. So also, I also didn't know this, but the month of June has officially signified LGBTQ pride in the U.S. since President Bill Clinton first declared it Gay and Lesbian Pride Month in 1999 and 2000. Now, people started doing protest parades 1 year after the Stonewall riots happened, and it became an annual event. So June became our month. And so there's a lot of details. I printed out this long story, but there's between 500 and 600 members of the community swarmed the Stonewall in. 2,000 people surrounded Christopher Street the second night. And while the third and fourth nights were relatively quiet, in the fifth and sixth nights brought 500 to 1,000 people back after the Village Voice published accounts about the riots. So this is how a revolution begins. This is how it starts. People have had enough. They get backed into a corner. They get to feel that they cannot be themselves, and they are suffocating underneath that weight, and then they fight back. And then sometimes you're not given a choice. That's what you have to do. And it boggles my mind as a lesbian woman that in 1969, which is not that long ago, it was illegal to be who I am. I feel so privileged. Talk about privilege. I feel so privileged to have been born in 1981 and to have grown up. And when I came out, there was a little bit of apprehension, but I certainly didn't feel the fear that people had in the 50s and 60s to come out and be myself. I did not have the fear that I would be killed. I didn't have the fear of life. I didn't have the fear that I would be completely ostracized from my society. When I came out, I still knew that I could be out and I could still have a job. I could still rent a house or buy a home. I could walk down the road and not be attacked. I feel like I owe such a debt of gratitude to the generations that came before me and fought as hard as they did. And since I came out, one of the things I fought for was my right to get married. And that was a big enough deal for me, is that the fact that I couldn't get married, I couldn't believe that when I came out, and I thought, if I fall in love and I want to be able to get married to the person I love, that's not legal in this country. That wasn't legal at the time when I came out in 1999. And so I feel so incredibly grateful that our voices were finally heard, and I was able to get married in 2008. But then right 2 days after I got married, my marriage was banned and made illegal in the state of California with the passing of Prop 8. And what it means to me when Prop 8 passed is that still so many people in this state, even in California, where we consider ourselves progressive, in this state, not that long ago, in 2008, so that means a lot of people that still live in this state, believed that I should never be allowed to get married. Never. That was when Prop 8 passed, enough people voted on it to say, no, you can never get married to the person that you love. That was important to them to say that to me. And so it had to be the U.S. Supreme Court. Actually, first it was the California Supreme Court that said in 2013 that I could get married I was already married. In 2008, I had a window of opportunity because of the courts. And then in 2013, other people got the opportunity to get married because of the courts. And then in 2015, the whole United States got the opportunity to be able to get married to whoever the hell they want to get married to because of the Supreme Courts. Not because of the vote. Because when we leave the power to the people, we have shown time after time that there is hate in people's hearts, and that they have shown that we are not wanted or needed. But I think attitudes are changing. I want to believe that attitudes are changing, and that given the power, people will want to make change for love and for equality. And I hope that, and that's the hope that I continue to have. So we remember today the Stonewall riots. We remember today all the riots and the protests that are going on across this country, not just for the LGBTQ people, but also for Black Lives Matter, because there are things that need to change. And you have to know that some people think that it's unpatriotic when you say that you need to change a country, but I don't know of anything that is more patriotic than to have hope in the people and the nation that you live in. So keep protesting. That is your right as an American. Keep saying, I want the rights to be able to just live and to be happy and to be free. That is what we all want in the world. And I support everyone's right for that. And thank you so much for finally being able to support my right to be able to be married. And I just hope you guys have a wonderful day. And remember that there's still so much work to be done. And I know that I got a little bit more emotional on this one, but this is an important day to remember for my community. And we still have a lot of work to be done, because we still have trans people being banned from the military and healthcare being revoked from the trans communities. We still have courts and even the highest office in the country saying that we shouldn't be able to have the right to adopt children. So there's so much work left to be done. Just because we have the right to get married, that was a big win, and that was great. And being able to see our people in media, that was a big win. There's a lot of great things that are happening, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much work to be done. We can never stop. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of QuaranTEAtime with Celeste. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow for my 98th episode on Monday. Thank you so much.